thank you all for being here tonight. We are excited to have Rich Wistocki here to talk to you about how to keep your kids safe. I just want you to know that in my job, my favorite part of my job is helping to get justice for kids, helping to make my community a safer place, and that is why Rich Wistocki is here to talk to you. As he talks to you about how to keep your kids safe when they're using online platforms, keep in mind that these cases are happening right here in Wallowa County at this very moment. So I grew up here in Wallowa County. Wallowa County is generally a safe place, but crime does happen here, and bad people can find their kids here. So please pay attention if you have questions about the laws or the legal system afterwards. I'm happy to visit with you further, but what he has to say is really important, and I can't stress enough that these cases are happening right now. I am prosecuting these cases right now. There is nothing you can do better to protect your kids than listen to what he has to say and ask him questions. He has a wealth of knowledge. So thank you everyone for being here.
Hello, for those of you who don't know me, I am Sheriff Ryan Moody, and I just wanted to reiterate what the district attorney just told you. This is an ongoing issue, and it happens in Wallowa County. It doesn't happen every day, but it happens every week, and I can assure you of that. I came from Benton County after 30 years over there. We had a problem, and we aggressively attacked it. And we had prosecutors that helped us aggressively attack those issues. And so we were able to get some justice for the children, but the bottom line is these children are susceptible to things, and adults are out there looking for children that are susceptible. And as parents, we have to understand that the children in our house are one of the most important things in our lives, and we have to protect them in any way we can. I will also be around afterwards. I do want to say that having him here tonight is a pleasure because he does have a wealth of knowledge regarding all of this kind of stuff. And so please pay attention. Please stick around and ask questions if you do have questions. And please make sure to reach out even after tonight if you do have questions. Okay? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mandy Decker. I'm the juvenile director. We brought Rich here 2 years ago, and I see some familiar faces. I think some of you are in the crowd. It's going to be a lot of the same information, but like our DA and our sheriff both said, these are things that we're seeing all the time, and even if we're not prosecuting them, there's still people coming in our office. And I say even like 3 or 4 years ago, before we brought Rich out, our response was, we can't prosecute these crimes. We don't know how to find their IP addresses, maybe they're from overseas, and that's really not the case anymore. The case is nobody can hide, and Rich is going to tell you a little bit about that, but there are ways to find IP addresses, and there are law enforcement officers all over the world that are helping with these crimes against children because they become so abundant. So the other thing is, plug into your kids. Your kids are the smart ones in your home. They know their devices, they know their apps. Ask them to walk you through them. I have Snapchat only because my kids have Snapchat. It's the only way they'll communicate with me. They're 20, so they're not really kids, but it is still the only way they'll communicate with me. But again, it puts me on a platform where I have to know what's going on. I have to know how to sideswipe. I need to know how to swipe a message so they can't see that I read it. All the things they know. Let them be the experts in your home. Let them walk you through their phones and their tablets, because that's what I do in the juvenile department a lot, is have them walk me through things that I don't understand, because they're really the experts, because they're on them all the time. A little housekeeping stuff. If you do have kids here and they don't want to listen anymore, or they're bored, there is childcare in the multi-purpose room, or in the little gym. There's going to be, they can play basketball, run around, and not have to listen to us talk. Also, bathrooms. There are bathrooms down the hallway. You take a right, then a left, and men's and women's are at the end. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Rich, and then we'll go from there. We'll bring him up. So Rich Wistocki has been in law enforcement for 30 years. The last 22 years he dedicated to internet crime. He has authored and updated the state of Illinois sexting statute, swatting legislation, SRR mandatory certification law, and the sexual exploitation of a child law. Detective Wistocki has also formed the Will County, Illinois State Attorney's High Technology Crimes Unit that made over 100 sexual predator arrests in the first 4 years. He is a law enforcement cyber trainer for NASRO, and a regular guest on NBC and Fox News, educating the public on cybercrime. He is nationally known for his tireless efforts to protect children. He did a presentation today for 7th to 12th graders in Joseph, so all high school students should have heard this presentation today. And then he will be talking to all 3rd through 5th graders. And he already did Joseph, he'll do Enterprise tomorrow, Wallowa tomorrow afternoon, and then he'll be doing a parent presentation in Wallowa tomorrow night. So he's trying to talk to as many people as possible. So I'm going to invite Rich to come up, and thank you so much for being here.
Okay, so just like during COVID when we couldn't see a menu, can you pull out your phones and scan that and put me into your phone? If you have an Apple phone, a gold bar will show up, and click on the gold bar. If you have an Android, a banner will show up, click on that. Taking a picture will not do anything. So if you're technology challenged, just let me know and I will help you. Okay. Okay, the reason why I do this, guys, is that there's no feeling than a screaming kid who's a teenager barging into your room at 2:30 in the morning. Mom, I made a mistake, Mom, I made a mistake, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I can't tell you how many times it has happened, almost every other week. Because when we allow our children to have their devices in their rooms at night, especially teenage boys, there is a group of people called the Yahoo Boys from Nigeria who are trafficking young girls, and they have pictures of young girls making your boys think they're talking to a really, really pretty girl. And these Nigerians get your boys to take their clothes off, and they take naked pictures of themselves. And the whole time it's going on, they're screen capturing their contact list on their Instagram. And they say, now that we have you, you're going to pay me $250 in gift cards. And if you don't, all your friends are going to get your naked picture with your face in it. And they send them to their friends to push them to get the money. So when they do give them a gift card of $250, now I want 3, now I want 4, now I want 5. So please understand, I am here for you. If you have an issue, call me. I can't tell you how many parents have called me after I left 2 years ago on different scenarios, okay? Today, I taught the middle school and high school, or junior high and high school, and then I taught the little guys. I had a line of kids talking to me, some of which were actual victims. So it's not happening somewhere else. We had a young lady actually break down and cry in front of me because she's tired of being cyberbullied by the person or people who were in her class. And that's going to stop. So I just can't impose upon you enough. It's happening here. And as parents, we need to be vigilant, right? So How many students are in the school district? 425? Why are there not 425 parents here? Right? Seriously. Why? Because parents suffer from a deadly disease that sets their children up for failure. It's called the NMK syndrome. Everybody want to take a stab at that? Not my kid. I don't need to go to that presentation because my kid would never talk to a predator. But yet an hour ago, I got a call from one of the kids I talked to. She was too embarrassed to come talk to me. She's been talking to a predator. I don't need to go to that presentation because my kids know better not to take naked pictures of themselves. Well, then why do I have people reporting it to me today? My daughter would never talk to a predator because she knows what will happen to her if she does. Please understand, your kids. It's like giving them the keys to a brand new Mercedes and saying, sweetheart, here's the keys to your new Mercedes. You go wherever you want. You go to Vegas, you go to California, run to Florida, but just don't tell me if anything's wrong. And when you come home, I'll just fill it up and you go again. When you give them those devices, that's what you're doing. So, there's a couple of rules that I have for you, and please understand that this is from my experience of arresting over 400 internet predators in my career. I'm about to say something that may upset some of you. You might find it offensive, but I don't really care because I don't have a chief and I already got paid. So, here it goes. And I'm not sorry if I offend you because you need to hear it. All of you parents here tonight are responsible for your children. Now, I hope I just didn't offend you. You see, you're not only responsible for their food, their clothing, their shelter, their education, you are responsible for their technology. I told them all that today. I don't care, grandma, grandpa, nana, nonu, tia, tiyu, whatever, bought them that new iPhone 16 for Christmas. They don't own it. Your children own nothing until they're 18 in this state. Nothing. I don't care if they worked the ranch all summer, babysat all winter, they bought it with their own money. They still don't own it. Because you are responsible for everything they do until they're 18. Everything. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a proven medical fact that the frontal cortex of their decision-making brain can't handle what goes on in social media with all the scamming and plotting. They don't have the experience of life. And their frontal cortex, they just do what feels good. Or what they think is okay. The last thing, the two more things I need to tell you is that there is no such thing as privacy for your children. Can I get an amen? Amen. You give them the device. You own everything about them, and I told them today, if your parent ever wants to go on your device, it's their responsibility to do so. The fourth thing I told them today, if you go and look in their device, parents, and they've locked you out because they changed the safety code, that's a consequence. Ask yourself, why did they do that? Privacy? Oh, hell no. They do it because there's something in there they don't want you to see. It's not about privacy. It's about them having their own little world, and you're not in it to control them. Okay? So, how many of you, when you came home, you asked them, hey, how was the presenter today? How many of your kids said, he sucked, don't even go? It's boring, don't even go. Well, that's what happens. So, when I go to other places, we like to get things done in one day, right? Here one day, there one day. But what I've learned, I need to do the parent presentation the night before. So the kids ain't coming home and saying how much I sucked. Because they don't want you to hear the truth about what's actually going on, right? So that's one of the reasons why we're recording tonight, so we can put it on the website and distribute it to whoever wants it, all right? All right, so some of the things we're going to go over today, and it is different from last time, because we're dealing with a lot more threats on social media to shoot up a school. We're dealing a lot more with cyberbullying and kids killing themselves. So we had a really great talk today. When I get there, I'll let you know what happened. So we're going to talk about predators on social networks, apps on their cell phones. We're going to talk about some of the laws, what parents should do when they see online threats, strategies on how to protect your children, and learn how to obtain evidence for us. We spent Monday and Tuesday training all local law enforcement. Prosecutors were there, and some of the community partners in the school were there. So there's about 16 of us, and then I showed them how to investigate internet crime. So it's really was a great training for that. So, when we talk about internet crime, when it comes to social networking and gaming, no one online is anonymous. No one. There is no one we cannot find when it comes to social media or gaming. I don't care if they use VPNs. It doesn't matter. We go through them. We will get to the original poster. Okay? So, over the last couple of years, what has changed is that we're having a lot more what they call swattings in schools, where somebody posts that they're going to shoot up a school, maybe in a group chat. Somebody says that, don't come to school tomorrow, something bad's going to happen. So, the Secret Service has created in 2021 something called the Threat Assessment Survey study. And what it found was 93% of the school shooters over the last 12 years had posted online what they were going to do before they did it. This is called leakage. You look at Sandy Hook, you look at Nashville, you look at Georgia a few months ago, Parkland, they all posted what they were going to do before they did it. So why did they get away with it? Number one, students didn't know how to report it. Number two, your school officials didn't know what to do with the information. Number three, your law enforcement officers didn't know they could get the information. So I created a class called Identifying and Intercepting School Violence Through Leakage and Cyber Investigations. Last year, we arrested 55 students throughout the country with the people taking my class. This year, we're up to 37 as of yesterday. 37, and 11 of them had weapons they were going to use in a school shooting. So we were able to stop them before they completed their plan. So here's what the premise of the class is. The main focus of this class is to give that student who is threatening to shoot up a school the mental health help they need before the shooting starts. Because what they found in the study was that every school shooter had a fractured upbringing, where they were emotionally abused, mentally abused, physically abused, or sexually abused. That was their foundation. And they couldn't fit into the school life, so they're ostracized, beat up, bullied, and this is the way of them getting back. But they have warnings of what they were going to do because they want a reaction and they want people to fear them. And so they continue on this path, and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. Every school shooter over the last 12 years were contacted by either the FBI or local law enforcement. They at least had one contact. But because the law enforcement didn't understand cyber investigations, the second phase of these classes is that we execute a search warrant on their social media. Because where do you think their deepest, darkest, and secrets are? In their social media. Who they're talking to, how they're planning it. This is what they do on their social media. And if you're not part of that whole world, you're going to miss it. And now, Indiana, Georgia, they're arresting parents for not locking up their guns when a school shooting happens. Let's take the Georgia situation. Police were at his house. He was on Discord, saying how he's going to shoot up the school. Police were at his house a year ago, questioning him about it. Every school shooter always says, I was just kidding. Sure, you better not do that, and they leave. Had they done the search warrant and followed the trail, they would be able to go in that house, grab all the guns, and see that their son had a shrine on Adam Lanza and Nicholas Cruz. He idolized two school shooters. He had all the articles all over his wall. Parent didn't say anything. Law enforcement never went in there because they didn't have a search warrant. These are the failures of other search warrants. But where does it start? Educating your children. Because they're in those group chats, right? They're in the social media. So what we did today is we showed them the 5 pieces of evidence that they needed to grab for us, how to do it, what it means, so when they report it, we can move on it quickly. So if it happens Friday night, they see it on a Friday night, you can't wait till Monday morning. You got to report it now. Because what if that planning process is starting over the weekend, and Monday morning comes, here comes the shooting. So as soon as they see it, they have to report it. Now, time is of the essence when it comes to threats to shoot up a school. We have to get them where they're at. What do I mean by get them? Remember, it's about the mental health of the student. That's why we do this class. They're having some kind of a meltdown or breakdown at that point in time. So we have to meet them where they're at. So when they make the threat, I'm going to shoot this person, or here's my hit list, or this or that, they're having some type of mental breakdown, causing them to say these things to everybody. So when your kid sees something, how many of you have heard, see something, say something, right? All our kids know that. But we have to carry it a step further. See something, say something, report something. So I showed them those 5 pieces of evidence today. I actually had them take pictures of it with their phones at the high school. So they all have it, and they know what to do. So here are some success stories just from this school year alone. So in Gurnee, Illinois, which is up by the border between Wisconsin and Illinois, one of my law enforcement SROs, I teach about 4,000 of them a year. He had a kid, he had a threat to a school. Within 2 hours, he traced it back to Wisconsin, where this kid, he was kicked out of their school and had to go to an alternative school in Wisconsin. They traced it right back to him within a couple hours. My SROs in Indiana, one kid, a 7th grader, said he was going to shoot up his middle school. What happened after that? 15 kids reposted it. So what I told your kids today, if you see a threat, do not repost it. Because when you repost it, you are making the threat against the school. In Indiana, they're arresting the kids for reposting. But who is the biggest violator of reposting, you think? Parents. Some parents who have had issues with the school want to get back at the administration, the superintendent, or the principal. They're those keyboard warrior parents that I'm gonna make them look like crap. So when their son or daughter says, hey, look what was posted on my Snapchat. Oh, let me have that. They posted it to their social media. Look, the school isn't doing anything about this. And then when parents repost it in their Facebook, other parents will chime in. Well, I heard it could be this kid. I heard it could be Jimmy Smith. I heard it could be Quinn Q. I heard it could be this person. And now they're outing all these children that have nothing to do with him. So parents, do not repost the threats. I'm going to show you the 5 pieces of evidence that you need to grab. And here they are. So, about a month ago, I was asked to go on the Dr. Phil show about street takeovers. So in major cities, they have these designated groups that take over an intersection, and they do donuts, they light fires, and people get hurt, people get shot in these hostile takeovers of intersections across the country. So they had me come in and they wanted me to say, how can law enforcement and parents prevent this? So here it is. And here's the 5 things you need to grab.
I add someone to the conversation, a retired cybercrime detective who travels the country training students on how to properly report takeovers and other crimes that they see online. This is going to be important to hear, because what do you see, what do you do? I mean, they have millions of posts every day, this stuff just goes up all the time. But what can you do if your kid does bring this to you? Your teen says, look, this is where you told me not to do, but here's one, here's another, here's another. What do you do about all that? We're going to get his advice right after the break. Well, I'm adding to the conversation a retired cybercrime detective who had a 30-year career in law enforcement, was a member of the United States Secret Service Computer Crimes Task Force, and is currently a deputy with Putnam County Sheriff's Office in Tennessee. Now, he travels the country, really raising awareness and teaching students how to properly report dangerous activity that they see online. So please welcome Detective Rich Wistocki. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So when they see this, there are things that they can do. What's number 1?
So number 1, when I train kids and parents what to do with these types of things, a lot of times they just will delete it, they'll report it, but number 1, we need to be able to take screen captures of everything.
Okay.
The chat, the profile, the pictures, the videos, anything that the poster's putting out, we need to take screen captures of that.
Because it could go away.
Yeah, it can go away, they can delete it.
Yeah. And then second, you say provide gamertag, user ID, email address, phone number. What do you
Yes, because a lot of these are put out on social media, on gaming platforms like Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite. So we want to have either the gamer tag, the user ID, the text message from the phone number that they make, or the email that's sending it out. Any one of those 4 or a combination of those 4, we need to have that information to do an investigation.
Right. What do you do with that info?
So what we do with that, law enforcement has portals. So we have special design portals just for law enforcement that are credentialed, and we can talk straight to the social network, and they give us the information once we give them due process, whether it's exigency, whether it's a search warrant or a subpoena.
Okay. All right. Number 3, you said do not report it to social network because it just goes into a long, big stack.
Yeah, so what happens with that, here's what I tell my parents and students across the country. If you're going to report it to the police, do not report it to abuse, because what happens is when you report it to abuse first, right, it goes into a queue where their security team will examine it for TOS, terms of service. So if it violates the terms of service, that account may be deleted. Well, then when you report it to the police, the patrol officer will take the report, it goes to investigations. That could take a week to 10 days. Then once the detective goes and does preservation, subpoena, or search warrant, they've already deleted it. But if you're not going to report it to police, by all means, always report it to abuse.
You say write a detailed written statement about what happened.
Yes, so I want the person who is viewing it to write down exactly what happened, who sent it, and how it made them feel, because in law enforcement investigations, we cannot be alarmed and disturbed according to the Supreme Court. But if I have a victim reporting to us that they're alarmed and disturbed for these reasons, that can go into a search warrant that we're gonna serve on the social media to find out what these people are up to.
Okay. And then you say print everything and put it on a flash drive. Why?
Right, so I want them to, everything that we told them to grab, we want them to print it out and put it on a flash drive. The reason why we need to put it on a flash drive is because of those portals. The social networks are gonna require law enforcement to upload what the threat is, to upload what the danger is. So taking those screenshots in digital form, putting in our computers and uploading them into the platform, then they have it immediately.
So if somebody sees that and reports it, can they get to this fast enough before something happens? Because usually this drops really quick, right, Sheriff?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Yeah, they'll put it out. Here's what the ECPA says, the Electronic Communications Privacy Act. If death or great bodily harm is about to happen or happening now, within reasonable amount of time, which means about 2 hours, and we do this with school shootings too, school shooting threats, within about 2 hours, we can identify where the person is, who's posting it.
Within 2 hours.
Within 2 hours.
And then you activate local law enforcement.
Absolutely.
Final thoughts about all this after the break. Well, tonight we've been discussing the tragic consequences of teen and young adult trends that law enforcement calls a takeover. And I don't know if you've ever driven up on one or gotten close to one, but they are so brazen, they'll just hit an intersection and it'll be traffic jammed back so far in all 4 directions, not even law enforcement can get up there, right? It's just terrible. And you can't know where your child's going every night. Once they leave the house, they tell you, hey, they go do B, C, or D. But you can talk to them about what happens in some of these things ahead of time. You should have them hear the stories that we're talking about here. You know, Raymond is gone. That's undeniable. Everybody's left with the aftermath of that. You're still having to fight back from your injuries, right?
I am every day.
Every single day.
Every day.
And all for 10 seconds of an adrenaline rush from somebody. So, you know, your kids can't look away from some of this stuff if you make them look at it, if you make them aware. And they've got to have the strength of their convictions to say, no, look, just pull over and let me out. What you can do is help them develop foresight, where you say, all right, let's just play the what-if game, all right? And you know, you play the what-if game until it makes you crazy, like, what if we hadn't walked across that intersection at that time? But the what-if game can also be constructive as long as you answer the question, what if I do go? What if somebody is hit by a car? What if I'm implicated in it? What if it changes my whole life? What if I go to jail? Answer those questions, and maybe your child will take pause and say, you know what? The risk-reward ratio is just not good for me.
So again, I just want to reiterate the 5 things that you can do if God forbid this happens to you. You can go ahead and take a picture of that screen so you can have it, and so you keep it with you in case you find something out about your child or one of your child's friends, and then we want to report it to you. Okay. So, you're very lucky in this town that you have really smart police officers and sheriff's deputies. Last time I came, I trained a bunch of them. This time I came and trained a bunch of them. But if you do run into, if you want to report something that happened, and sometimes police officers in their 8, 10, 12-hour shifts, some of them, not saying here, in other jurisdictions, they work really, really hard at not taking a report. And the reasons why some of these police officers don't take a report is because nobody trained them how to do it. Just like the FBI. Just because you're an FBI agent doesn't mean you know anything about cyber. People always assume that they know this stuff. They don't. If they were in cyber terrorism, cyber fraud, or internet crimes, then they would know. But other than that, your regular run-of-the-mill FBI agent, has never had that training. Nor do FBI agents deal with children. Because there's no mechanism in the federal government to arrest children. It has to be done by locals. So if we're not training our local law enforcement, I want to take you to last year in Columbus, Ohio. A dad comes home after work at 5 o'clock. He went to go look for his 11-year-old daughter. He can't find her, but he knows she's got to be home. So he goes in her bedroom, calling out for her. She's not answering. And then he sees her closet, and there's a blue glow. He opens up the door. His 11-year-old daughter's laying there naked, filming herself, doing inappropriate things. He's like, "What are you doing?" "Daddy, I'm sorry. My friend from Roblox is making me do this." Let me give you a stat. One internet predator can have 250 victims in their lifetime. 250. And if they're doing something wrong to your child, there are 20, 30 other kids they're doing it to at the same time. Let me tell you why predators are so successful. There's 2 reasons. Number 1, parents are not watching their kids, and they suffer from the NMK syndrome. Number 2, police officers are not trained on how to take a cybercrime report. And then this happens. So this dad calls the police at 6 o'clock. They don't arrive to the house in Columbus, Ohio, till midnight. And this happens 50% of the time when a parent calls law enforcement.
Is there a better coffee room setup? Yeah. No.
That's crispy Sprite.
Oh, you know what? I just want Sprite. I haven't had Sprite since I was like a kid. Pretty decent.
Are you good? That's a college Sprite.
Oh, you know what? I love you. Do you feel like that Sprite challenge? Fingers on Sprite transfer. Why?
She's in bed now.
Well, it's so happy, right?
Yeah. So the whole point I was going to get someone on her. I just want her to realize what this was. I mean, reality is how much got like move out of it.
I mean, she could probably charge with the child porn.
Who she can? She's 11 years old.
She's creating it, right?
She's 11 years old.
Doesn't matter. He's still making porn.
No, she's not. She's being manipulated by grown-ass girl on the
Is she
internet.
taking pictures of?
You guys have a message.
Okay.
Thank you for coming. Are you serious? How do I see?
So 50% of the time, we're having police officers who have never been trained victimizing the victim twice. Once by the predator, once by the police. They got 30 days off, no pay. The shame of it is, Columbus, Ohio Police Department has one of the best internet crimes against children departments in all of Ohio. So how does this happen? Because their staff and their police officers who do the work are not training their patrol officers. So if this ever happens to you, say, okay, let them go. Call back the police department and say, I want to talk to a sergeant. But in some jurisdictions, who do you think trained the officer? Right? If that happens, you need to call the prosecutor's office. Say, hey, this is what happened to my daughter, and they refuse to take the report. And then they will make something happen. So don't take this, okay? This is just because they haven't been trained, but you're very lucky because a lot of your police officers have been trained, all right? So one of the reasons why predators talk to your children is this slide right here. So today, for the elementary and middle school, I said, all right, guys, where are my 9-year-olds? Where are my 10-year-olds? Yeah. Where are my 11-year-olds? Yeah. Where are my 12-year-olds? Yeah. All right. How many guys got Snapchat? Yeah. How many guys got TikTok? Yeah. Discord? Yeah. So when I'm teaching these guys, they're 9 to 12 years old, right? But parents, did you know you have to be 13 to be in there? So when they all raise their hands, wait a minute, wait, how could you be in there? You're not even 13 yet. Oh, you lied about your age, didn't you? So I asked this question. How many of you just whined and whined and whined until your parents gave in? I had a handful raising their hands. How many of you did it behind their parents' back and you didn't care what they thought? The rest of them raised their hands. So this is their thought process. I'm not a bad kid. My older brother or sister has a Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok. Why can't I have one? It's not fair. Everybody in school's got it. Why can't I have it? It's not fair. Screw it, I'm just going to do it. Now, no offense, but some of your kids are not the best mathematicians. So you decided, I'm just going to download it. So they download Snapchat. They put their name in. They put their phone number in. They put their email address in. Oh, wait, crap. I got to put my date of birth in or else I'm not going to get one. All right, wait. I was born in 2013. Do I go up with my date of birth to be 13? Or do I go down my date of birth to be 13? I don't want to mess it up. Oh, I'm just going to put in 2000. That'll get me in. I asked the question, how many you put in 2000 in your date of birth? 50 of them raise their hand. How old are they today? 25. Then I asked the question, how many of you guys put your parents' date of birth? A whole slew of them raised their hands. I had the dad last week. Is that why at breakfast this morning, my daughter asked me what my date of birth is, and I asked her why? She said, never mind. Yep, Dad, that's why. So now we have a bunch of 9, 10, 11-year-olds running around as 25-year-olds. Ladies and gentlemen, who do you think is going to come talk to them? Adults. Who do you think is going to send naked pictures to your kids? Who do you think is going to ask your child to take naked pictures of themselves in their closets? Adults, because they're 25. You see the problem? So you need to sit down with your children, ask to see their profile, to see how old they are. If you're still going to allow your child to have social media, make it 13. Because when it's between 13 and 17, no one 18 years of age or older can search them, talk to them, or send them anything. That's global rules. So when they have a 13 to 17 date of birth in their social network, no one 18 years of age or older can search them, send them anything, or talk to them. Okay? But it doesn't mean a predator can't make a fake 13-year-old profile and be friends with your child. So when you go institute this, you're saying, we're going to delete it, we're going to start over. I get a kick out of moms who say, yeah, my 9-year-old has Snapchat, but it's only for family. Yeah, okay. So the issue is that you're going to get some pushback, right? And what are they going to say? But Mom, I have all my followers. I'm never going to get them back. You're 11. Seriously? You're 11. So many kids think they're going to be influencers and make millions of dollars. And I bursted their bubble today. Look, less than 1% do that. And it's going to last for about 6 months. And they're going to cut you off. So I had to slap them into reality today. You know what I mean? So we need to have those talks with them. This is not really real, okay? But they think it's real. So my first school I taught this school year, Freeport, Illinois. Look at all those 25-year-old 4th and 5th graders. They all had 2,000 as their date word. I left that school with 3 victims. 6th grader, 7th grader, 8th grader being extorted by a freshman in their high school. When you allow this stuff to happen, right underneath your nose, it snowballs. This slide really doesn't pertain. Let me just go forward with this. Don't let your kids go on an Uber. Okay. So I asked your kids today, how many of your parents had a technology talk with you that went something like this? If you ever take bad pictures, if you ever cyberbully anybody, if I ever catch you doing this or doing that, you're going to be grounded. You're not going to see the light of day. You're going to go to flip phone. You're not going to go on a sleepover. You're not going to go hang out with your friends. If you ever, blah. So I asked them, they kind of threw you under the bus. How many of your parents had a technology talk like that? They all raised their hand. Okay? Here's the issue and the follow-up question. If you ever made a mistake on your social media or got catfished, are you going to tell your parents? And they all said no. Why do we do that as parents? Why do we threaten them like that? Anyone want to guess? Why do we threaten our kids? Fear, yeah. Because didn't our parents do that to us? Our parents did that to us, that's why we do it to them. But when it comes to technology, that dog don't hunt. We can't do that. We have to have a meaningful technology talk with our kids, okay? So what does that look like? Where's my golden ticket ads? Where, you guys have those? Oh, hell yeah, I was so happy when they made that. That's awesome. So, what the golden ticket rule says is that you're going to sit down with your child, all right? You're going to say, look, what I don't want you to do after you leave here, that's it, no more. You're going to flip phone. You're not getting that phone anymore. That's it. Don't do that. Because in every single school, there's one kid that sells burner phones for $5. They're either old or stolen phones. Who needs phone service with all the Wi-Fi, right? They're going to find a way. I'd rather you be in it than outside of it, right? So you're going to sit down with them and say, look, remember when mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever the guardian is, remember we told you if you ever do this, if you ever do that, I want you to ball that up and throw it out the window. When I went through this presentation, I had no idea what was going on social media. No idea. So what I want you to do is understand that we are responsible for you. And if someone ever makes you feel uncomfortable or is trying to make you do something, we're responsible for you. You need to come to us. If you come to us, we're going to give you that golden ticket pass. And there will be no consequences. Because we need to nip it in the butt when it happens, so you don't dig yourself deeper and deeper and deeper. Because I already told you they can't handle what goes on social media, right? Especially with their 25-year-old brain. Right? They don't know what to do. They panic and they get deeper into it. So we have to give them that pass to let them know, no matter what happens, if the Yahoo boys are extorting your sons, or if they're having an online relationship that's going bad, they need to come to you and feel comfortable with that. And that's where the golden ticket comes in. Okay? So I also want to share with you a documentary that we did for the BARC team. It's called Childhood 2.0. It's in YouTube. Go ahead and take a picture of that. Childhood 2.0. It's on YouTube. It's an hour and a half and it's free. Okay? This is what elementary, middle school, and high school students are doing behind their parents' backs. And how they try to get around you. There's very sensitive topics in here. So what I'd like you to do is watch it yourself, parents. If you think your child can handle the content, then watch it with them. But when you watch it with them, be prepared to pause it and talk about any topic. But there's a way I want you to do that too. So when you're watching it with them, You're gonna hit pause. Here's what I don't want you to do. Hey, you're not doing that, are you? What do you think they're gonna say? No, Mom. But if you say, pause, tell me what you know about that. Mom, you're not gonna believe it. When I went to Sandy's house, she had Jimmy over there, and this happened, and that happened, and this happened, because they all want to tell you how smart they are about someone else, right? So that's your opportunity when you have open-end questions. Just let them talk. It's just like, okay, how many of you parents here are the Uber parents? Like, you're taking kids everywhere. Sports teams, dances, this and that, right? You're taking like 4 or 5 kids, right? You're the Uber parent. Here's my advice to those Uber parents. Be quiet. Don't say a word, because you're the Uber driver. Just listen. I had a dad last month say, "You're right, detective. I put in my earbuds, I act like I'm jamming out to my music. I'm not listening to anything but them." That's where you're going to get your intel. You're going to hear things that you would never imagine. You're thinking, you're like, oh my God, did she really say that? So then as you're dropping them off, 1 goes, 2 goes, 3 goes, 4 goes. Now you're alone with your darling child. Don't go home. Pull in a bright parking lot, put it in park, turn to them and say, "So tell me what that conversation was about, sweetheart." And they would be like, "Oh shit, they heard that one." Because what do you think's going to happen when you go home? "Mom, I got time for this, I gotta go upstairs." And you miss your opportunity. Our kids don't need any more friends. They need mentors to guide them through everything. Okay? So please understand. Take this opportunity. Listen. Don't get in their conversations. Just listen. And when the opportunity presents itself, then you go in and find out what's really going on. Here's a little trailer.
A long time ago, families were in communities. They were local, they were small.
I was born in the very depth of the Great Depression. I was put to work carrying wood, carrying water. I knew how to shell peas. I knew how to break beans. We still didn't have electricity.
I have 2 Instagram accounts.
I use Instagram,
Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok.
TikTok and Fortnite. I can just scroll for hours on it. 11 hours a day.
It's been 8, 9.
Maybe like 12. It's actually been a way that we can keep track of them out there in the real world where things really are scary.
The lives of kids were sort of changing slowly for a while, and then all of a sudden, most kids were able to get on social media, and that's when everything skyrocketed.
The rate at which they're experiencing problems continues to increase.
We estimated the teen suicide rate increased 56%.
Last year alone, we received over 18 million reports of international and domestic online child sexual abuse.
We have traded a false sense of safety and security for actually putting our kids in riskier situations. Called the race to the bottom of the brainstem. So it starts with techniques like pull to refresh.
Every guy has like an addiction to it, but no one talks about it.
But it's just faster now, and it's younger.
Well, yeah, like nudes of girls going around to school all the time. At the beginning of the year, there were multiple suicides before school even started. There were men that wanted to talk to children at all hours of the day and night.
Be shy. On Snapchat, one thought it'd be a funny idea to talk the other one into committing suicide, and she did it. She's dead.
After about 6 weeks, we were able to crack his phone.
Kids right now are going to experience the worst of what we're going through.
Do any of your parents know that this happens?
No, my kid won't do that. My kid would never. My kid's school isn't like that. You're wrong.
Because what they see, they feel neurologically compelled to do.
Right now, we're effectively living in an experiment. How is this going to affect us? We'll find out.
So it's just a great way to break the ice and talk about what's going on. So what's been affecting our kids is sextortion. The kids understood. I didn't mention the word sex to the little guys today. I don't do that. But to the junior high and high school, we talked a lot about dating and things like that. So how does sextortion happen? Sextortion happens, it's different for girls than it is for boys. For girls, it's about more pictures and videos by predators. For boys, it's about Nigerian scams, Russian scams, Filipino scams, and they trap your teenage boys, and they get them to take those naked pictures, and they say, now that we have you, we're going to share it all. And you can't believe how many suicides by teenage boys happen as a result of the Yahoo Boys. So go ahead and open your phones, and I want you to Google search Yahoo Boys Sextortion Nigeria. Yahoo Boys Sextortion Nigeria. And you will see there how many young teenage boys are being affected and commit suicide as a result of this behavior. So when I talk to your boys today, if this happens to you, don't pay the money. Do not. Let your parents know right away. Collect those 5 pieces of evidence. I was just on Nancy Grace about a couple months ago, and we were featuring a teenage boy who he was a senior. He had a full ride to Michigan State, and the Yahoo Boys got their hooks into him. He goes, that's it, that's all I have is $250. If you continue to do this, I'm going to kill myself. Well, you better hurry up because we want to watch. And now they prodded the kid to kill himself. He took his dad's gun and shot himself in the head. But what happened in that case, they're getting smart. They have people from the United States working like a work-from-home scam. So they're actually sending the money to somebody in the United States that's working from home. The people who are working from home create a bank account. They put that money, they convert the money, put it into an account. Then they transfer it over to Bitcoin. They keep 20% and they send it to Nigeria. They're making millions. So we need to tell our boys, I told them today, do you ever hear of, if it's too good to be true, it probably is? Too good to be true? No really hot girl is going to ask you to take your clothes off like that, right? Whenever you remove your clothes in front of a cam, nothing will ever work out for you. Period. But what drives our boys? Hormones, right? I see a naked girl! And then she convinces him, a traffic girl, or they're sending these pictures of all these other girls, and your son thinks that they're real people, and they're not. But then they're sending all these pictures to his buddies on his Instagram. Buddies are calling and saying, dude, what are you doing, you weirdo? It's already starting to send, which pushes them to get more money. That's what happens. But for girls, though, here's how it happens. Predators are very, very patient. And what they'll do is, like I said, the biggest predator site today is Roblox. The Roblox game. The reason why that is because they opened up chat between adults and children now. So anybody your child is playing with, they have these fake accounts, they're playing with your kids, and they get them over to private chat. So here's what I told your kids today. If you're playing with somebody in Roblox, after about 2 months, and they say, you know what? Let's go over to Discord DM. Let's go over to WhatsApp. They're trying to get your child off the gaming platform and go to private chat. Ding, 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 ding. What I tell your children today is, if someone takes you off your gaming platform and go to private chat, they are not who they say they are. Because if you had something to say to me, why not say it in the game? Why do I got to go over there? Here is why. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children has an AI program that runs in the background of every social network, gaming platform, and cloud service in the United States, except for Apple because they're the devil. Apple does not cooperate with any law enforcement investigation unless we give them court orders, okay? So, because their biggest customer are 13 to 17-year-olds, right? So, this AI program looks for 2 things. Grooming chat between adults and children, and CSAM, child sex abuse material or child pornography. It's kind of like, have you ever had a private conversation with someone? Like say you want to go on a cruise, and then a couple hours later you get an ad to go on a cruise in your feed. Well, when you sign up on your phone, you're giving Apple permission to record your conversations. So when they're recording your conversations, that conversation is being transcribed by an AI computer. And companies sell ads. They have a list of 100 keywords they can submit to Apple or Google or whatever. And then once you talk about vacationing, cruising the Caribbean, all these keywords, shoo, you get an ad. And if you click on it, they get paid. Okay? So that's how that works. It's the same thing. If there's grooming chat between your kids and an adult, this AI will flag it. Someone from TikTok, Instagram, or Snapchat will read it. Yep, that's grooming chat. They send it to the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. They do all the background on who it is. They assign that case to one of 7,000 people like myself in the ICAC, and we investigate why they're talking sexual things to a child. Okay? Predators know we do this. So if they can get your child off of the gaming platform to go to private chat, they got your kid. Free reign. Nobody's watching. So I told your kids this today. Somebody takes you off your gaming platform, because if they were real, why not talk to me on the game? Why do I gotta go over there? Predator. So let's say they did get them off of the game, and they go to private chat. Here's what's next. We've been friends for so long. 2 months. We've been friends for so long. Do you want to see what I really look like? And your kid says, I don't care. They will send your child 2 or 3 pictures of videos of themselves naked or getting naked. And then what comes next is, after it's sent, now you owe me 1 pic. I said, ask that question today with your kids. How many of you have ever received a text message from someone you know or someone you don't, you owe me 1 pic? I had 20 kids raising their hands. So I said, if anybody sends you, you owe me 1 pic, you are about to be a victim of sextortion. And so I gave them a tool on how to do that, and how to recognize that, so they know now. If somebody ever sends to you, you owe me 1 pic, what do you say? You don't know Jack. Yeah, I don't know you, Jack. I had them scream it and yell it and scream it and yell it so they remember it, right? And they'll remember that for the rest of their lives. Sometimes I'll teach at a junior high like 5 years ago, and I'm setting up in their high school, and they're looking at me setting up. They're, hey, detective, I know you, Jack, bro. I said, yeah, good job. So, yeah, just give them little taglines. But this is how it works. Check it out.
Hi, Zach. There's another video from our special guy. I can't believe we haven't talked all day. I wish you went to my school or a little closer so we could finally meet. I get it. They have an hour. Don't spend too long with them. Okay. I know you've been waiting for this for a while. I wanted to give you something special.
Who are you? Why are you doing this?
Can you imagine your 11-year-old going through this? at all the victims. And that's how they keep them in separate file folders. So they can continue to use that information against them. Now when it comes to boys, this is what happens.
In January of this year, and we've really kind of seen it exponentially grow around June.
Sextortion is a problem no parent wants to find their child caught up in. Compromising pictures or conversations threaten to be exposed.
And now, law enforcement is seeing a new shift in how sextortion happens. It shows gangs targeting adolescent and teen boys instead of girls. Casey Cronus has more in tonight's special report.
It starts out simple enough. A young boy receives a social media friend request from a cute girl he doesn't know. But there's much more to that message.
So they'll do 100, 200, 300 friend requests in one single day.
Rich Wistocki is a retired Naperville cybercrime detective who now travels the country talking to students and law enforcement about cyber safety.
But we're seeing a break right now where gangs all over the country and all over the world are sex trafficking young girls. And their job is to engage in boys' conversations online and in video chat.
Once the boy and the girl are video chatting, Wistocki says the girl does this.
They ask the kid, "You like what you see?" And then they start engaging in sexual activity over a webcam. Well, what's happening in the background? That gang person who has trafficked this young girl, screen capture, screen capture, screen capture.
Wistocki says the young girl will also ask the boy to see his face and his room, things that will make him identifiable. While that's happening,
in the background, they're copying all their contact information on their Snapchat and their Instagram. So when the sexual activity is done, the gang person comes up on the camera and says, "Now that we have you, you better send us $250 in gift cards."
Wistocki says some boys will go get their parents' credit cards so they can send the money to the gang that is sextorting him.
And then it's either being sent to the Philippines, the UK, Russia.
The trends that we're seeing are international offenders, specific kind of to West Africa, Nigeria, the Ivory Coast.
Chicago HSI Special Agent Susan Jensen investigates child exploitation cases. She's also seen this new sextortion shift.
Our office is receiving leads on a daily basis with individuals that have been exploited.
While it can be difficult to prosecute an overseas offender, Jensen says Homeland Security's Cybercrime Center is working closely with its international field offices and foreign governments to try to make that happen. There are steps you can take to protect yourself from becoming a victim.
A lot of what we're seeing now is Instagram and Snapchat, different social media sites where kids have their profiles that are unblocked, they're not private, and then they have their list of friends available for everybody to see as well.
Jensen says making your profile private is one of the biggest steps you can take to protect yourself from sextortion scams. She adds it's one kids don't often do.
One of the things we see are kids want to have several, hundreds, thousands of followers, so they'll leave their profile open and anybody can friend them.
Jensen and Wistocki say it's important to send investigators screenshots of everything that transpired, information on where they want the money to go, and user ID accounts. Lastly, have the technology talk with your kids. Let them know what the rules are when using their devices. And this.
No one has the right to make you do something you're not supposed to do. No one has the right to make you feel bad about yourself. If they're sextorting you, you need to tell your parents.
Another important step that our experts recommend parents take is no electronic devices in your kids' rooms when they go to sleep at night. And if you are planning on getting your child a cell phone as a holiday gift, Wistocki says make it an Android because you can monitor an Android phone more robustly than other types of cell phones. Casey Cronus, Fox 30.
We're going to talk about monitoring at the end here. But I want to show you a new tool that the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children has. It's called takeitdown.ncmec.org. Go ahead and open your phones up, put that in your browser. Takeitdown.ncmec.org. ncmec.org. Put that in your browser. So this is a tool that if your child has given up their naked pictures, whether from a predator or from dating someone, okay, they can upload the pictures and videos to take it down. And what the National Center of Missing Exploited Children will do, it'll take that report and it takes the digital DNA called the hash value out of those pictures and videos, and it shares it with every single social network. Not the picture or video, just the mathematical algorithm. And it gets in a list in the server of every single social network and gaming platform. Do not possess, do not transfer, do not download. If somebody violates it, they have it, they do one of those three, a cyber tip goes to the National Center, and 1 to 7,000 people like us investigate why that person has that picture. Virtually eradicating those pictures from the internet. 6 months ago, they just opened it up for adults. Like if you're in a bad relationship and your ex says, I'm gonna expose you, I'm gonna sell, it's revenge porn. We have revenge porn here, right? Revenge porn statutes. If you disseminate a picture as an adult without your permission and it's supposed to be even though it's consensual, there's a right to privacy there. If they send it out, it's revenge porn. So it's felony? Felony here? Yeah, that's right. It's a felony in Illinois, but anyways. So I'm gonna play a little video from Take It Down just to explain what it does.
Losing control of your nude images online is terrifying. And if you're a teen, it may feel impossible to reverse it. Well, you can't go back in time and unsend. We can help you move forward.
So they just upload it to Take It Down, and then it gets eradicated from the internet. Okay? So here are some of the apps that they're using. Again, make sure you're going through those profiles to see what age they put in there. It's really important. So Discord is also one of the worst sites. I need to tell you a little bit about this. When we were growing up with the internet, parents, what was one of the worst places that your school, law enforcement, and media would tell you, don't go to that place? You remember what it was called? Chat rooms, right? So Discord, let me show you what this is. Here are all the rooms created by Discord. They go about like all the games that are playing online. Here's everybody that's on there right now. Here's some of the rooms that are here. But this little button right here is called DM chat, direct messaging. What does that look like? Does it look like AOL when we were kids, right? Here's what their marketing ploy was. If you ask your kid, hey, what's this Discord thing you're in? I heard so much about it. Oh, it's a chat room for gamers. Chat room? Oh, hell no. You're not going in there. You better not download it. Well, what did their marketing team do? What do we call Discord? What are the rooms called in Discord? What else are they called? What do you make in Discord? No. Servers. So to the working adult, what does the server room mean to you at work? What is that place? We're data store. Can anybody go in there? Really only smart people, right? IT people, right? So now when you ask your kid, what's this Discord thing you're going into? Oh, I make my own server, Mom. My kid's so smart. And you don't think twice about it. Because they're not saying the word chat room. But that's what it is. It's a chat room. So they get your kids off of their gaming platform, they take them here, and then they go to direct messaging, private chat. And they got them. Okay? How many of you have Oculus at home? VR? Anybody? Oh, yes. You guys have it? Okay. So, one of the things about Oculus is that virtual reality game. I have a couple rules for that. Only allow your child to play Oculus in a public room of the house. No bedroom, no basement. Living room, family, kitchen, dining room, that's it. I'll tell you why in a second. You have to go in your settings and turn on the speaker in the headset. Because what happens is your kids are so busy playing, they don't hear questions that come to them. But if you turn on the speaker in the headset, you're going to hear those questions. Okay? So here's what I did today. I went up to one of the girls and I said, "Sweetheart, what's your Facebook?" Facebook? That's for old people like my parents. Get away from me, boomer. I don't have Facebook. You silly. Well, in order for your kids to have an Oculus, you make it with a Facebook account. So who do you think your kids going to be playing with? Old people. Right? So understand that this is a predator playground. Because these predators already have Facebook accounts. So they're creating Oculus accounts from their Facebook to play with your child. So turn on the speaker in the headset. Number 2, turn off all messaging and chat. If your kid wants to play the game, they don't need to message and chat with anyone. Number 4, there is an app you need to download called Meta Quest 2. Go to your app store right now, go to your app store or your Google Play, and type in the search queue, Meta Quest 2. When you download this app and you have Oculus, you put it on, you can Bluetooth your phone to the headset of the Oculus and see exactly where your kid is playing remotely. Right from your phone. You can see what rooms he's in. Are they appropriate rooms or are they not appropriate rooms? You can see it remotely. And it's good to spot check that stuff. Okay? So these are the 4 rules when you have Oculus in your house. So this guy was able to meet an 11-year-old little girl in New Jersey, abduct her in his truck, make it 135 miles into the next state before he was caught. How does it happen? Where do they meet? Roblox. He poses as a 12-year-old boy, plays with these young little girls for 2 or 3 months, and then he goes and picks her up. As the dad to the 12-year-old girl, as the 12-year-old boy she was playing with. Moms and dads, here's the biggest mistake ever you can make in raising your children. Ask yourself the question, do I allow my child to charge their devices in their rooms at night? If that answer is yeah, what's the big deal? You are allowing predators in their bedroom. Because at night, you're sleeping. They shut the door so you can't hear them. They don't need to type. They don't need to say anything. It's typing, reading, and performing. Just like the 11-year-old girl in Columbus, Ohio. So please understand. So when you go home and you put in effect this rule, what are you going to get back? But I need my phone to wake up in the morning. Go to Walmart and buy a $10 clock. But I need to set 3 alarms. Go on Amazon, buy 3 for $2. Put it in strategic places in the bedroom. Your asses are going to have to get up out of bed. Be the parent. Just because the technology exists doesn't mean they have to have it. Please understand that. The worst thing, if you take away anything from this presentation, get the devices out of their rooms at night. Because that is the common denominator when kids are victimized. Every single one. Because when you allow this equals that. How many kids do we have fallen asleep in class? Right? But change is gonna come, right? Almost every state is taking the phones out of the kids' hands and putting it in the pouches so they can't have phones anymore. I just testified yesterday remotely from our capital in Illinois And they had 3 test sites in Illinois, north, central, south, and southern Illinois. They took away the phones out of the school district. Half the fighting complaints, half the cyberbullying complaints, and the scores to tests went through the roof just by taking away the phones from the school. Positive change. Positive change. Okay. Moms, God has given you a gift called maternal instinct. If you have a feeling something's wrong, something's wrong. God has given you this gift to protect your babies. Whether they're 6 months or 40, 50, it never goes away. Right, Graham? Never, right? Right?
Right.
You are never wrong. What I tell my new SROs, moms are not crazy. If a mom is telling you, no, something's wrong, I know something's wrong, well, show me proof, lady. I don't need proof. I know something's wrong. I tell my SROs, moms are always right. And where are you going to find the answer to your question? You want to know what's wrong with your kid? It's in here. This is their friends. This is their life. This is their swag. This is their reputation. This is their communication. You want to know what's going on with your kid? You got to be in here. Because when you're not in here, you're going to miss it. And you're going to think you're crazy. You're not crazy. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're cooking dinner, right? Your kid goes to the after school sporting event or whatever he goes to. Comes in the door, and you're cooking dinner. Husband's watching the news, drinking a beer, rubbing his belly. So you're cooking, and you say, "Oh, you're home, sweetheart. How was your day?" And what do they say? By the way, they say fine. By the way, they put their book bag down. By the way, they come up to you, or not. By the way, they give you a hug, a kiss, maybe not. By the way, they go up the stairs. By how much pressure they put on the steps. By the way, they go in their room, shut the door, lay on their bed, you're like, oh my God, something's wrong. Something's wrong, something's wrong, I know something's wrong. And what's your husband saying? Ah, you're crazy. She said when she was fine. God skipped him. He don't have maternal instinct. Okay? So, just kidding, Dad. So the fact of the matter is, my advice to you, investigate, investigate, investigate. If God is triggering your maternal instinct, yes, something's wrong. The kids that get in the most trouble when it comes to predators, I have a parent ignoring all the warning signs. All the warning signs. Trust your instinct. But on the other side, here's a warning to all you parents. Never, ever, never, ever tell your kid what you did that was illegal when you were their age. Never. Don't tell them what you did that was illegal. Like, oh, it's different when we smoked weed. How is that different? It was different. We went to the kegger, we went to the woods. That's how we partied. Why would you tell them that? When you tell them what you did that was illegal, and why do you do that anyways? Because I want to be the cool parent. I want to get on their same level so they know I understand. Oh, bullshit. They don't need to know that. Because when you do that, you're writing them the gift certificate to go do it too. And they're going to try it. And when they get caught, because they're not as good as you, when they get caught by the cops or by the principal, what's the first thing going to come out of their mouth when you go pick them up? What are you telling me for? They did it too. Tell them. Cops can be like, you told her. What? But sweetheart, it was different when we were kids. When we dated our teachers in high school, it was just a whole different thing. Why would you tell them that? Why? That's not okay. Our kids need mentors. They need to be saying, my dad would never do that. My mom would never do that. And they're going to hold themselves to your standard, right? Understand, guys, your kids watch you. Everything you do, they watch you. For example, if you as parents have elderly parents and you're not taking care of them, who's going to take care of you? What are you teaching them? Do you go see grandma, grandpa every weekend? Do you bring your kids with, show them how much you care for your parents? Because what are you passing down? Right? It's your job to teach them that. Your job. I'll give you another example. So, what drives me crazy when I see two parents at a nice dinner, I see two of their kids, 4 or 5, headphones on, iPads, at dinner, right? That is your only time to socialize your child. If you have to put a device in front of your child's face at dinner, why even the hell are you taking them away? Right? How are you going to teach this child how to act in front of adults? For example, waiter comes to your table, right? What would a little miss like to drink? Sweetheart, what do you want to drink? Mom, what do they got? Well, it's Friday. You can have Pepsi, you can have soda, you can have juice, you can have milk, you can have iced tea. What do you want? Mom, I want an iced tea. Tell the man what you want. Mom, you tell him. Tell the man what you want or you get nothing. I'll have an iced tea, please. Okay. Waiter comes back around. What would the little miss like to eat? Mom, what do they got? You can have pizza, nuggets, pasta, mac and cheese. What do you want? I want mac and cheese. Tell the man what you want, or else you're not going to eat. I want mac and cheese, please. That's your job. Or how about this one? What the hell? What kind of parents you got? It is your job to teach your kids how to shake someone's hand. Get in there, nice to meet you, sir. I have my little 2-year-old little grandbaby. He goes like this, nice to meet you. How people remember my boys, my older son's a firefighter, paramedic, SWAT medic. My younger one's a police officer. The way people remember my boys, man, your kids gave great handshakes. The secretaries at work, man, they hugged me every time I saw them. That's how they remember them. That's your job. They're not going to learn handshakes in school. That's your job. For girls and boys. That's how we teach them to be successful. You are their mentor. You don't need to be down here as their peer. They don't need any more peers. Okay? So I'm going to wrap this up. We already read this. Let me show you. I want to get to this. Okay. How many of you are on the fence? Should I or shouldn't I get them a phone? Okay? If you're on the fence or in a gray area, get them an Android. Do not buy them an iPhone. Some of you are like, oh shit, I just gave my old one. Okay, so here's the deal. Apple does not allow third-party monitoring of their devices. Bark will work. Okay, so I've given you a handout. I'm giving you 30 days free for Bark. Is it a 30-day thing? Yeah, so with the code, be sure. Is there any more of these? Is there more of those, or are they all gone? Girls, is there any more of these? No, they're all gone? Okay. So you just go to Bark, you're going to get free 30 days. Oh, you got some over there? Okay. Okay. Yeah, because they don't have them over here. pass them out to everybody but your own parents? Oh, you did it on purpose! Shame on you. That's funny. I won't have kids pass that on you. All right, so here's what you have to understand. Go on your browser on your phones right now, type into Google, what bark monitors. What bark monitors? Go ahead and plug that in. And so you're going to see, if they have an iPhone, it doesn't get into the social networks. It'll do texting, but there's something called onboarding you have to do. So the onboarding process tricks your phone, and the only time you're going to get the alerts is when they come home with their device, they go on the Wi-Fi, then you're going to get a data dump. Other than that, you're not going to get it real time. If they have an Android, you can't. There's something called a Bark phone now. It has the application built in. It's a high-end Android phone. It's like $50 a month with service. And it's T-Mobile or Verizon. And so you have total remote control. Like, let's say we're at dinner, right, in a restaurant, and you as a parent say, hey, put the phone away. All right, put the phone away. 10 minutes later, I'm going to fix her. You open your phone. You can have whatever phone you want there. It doesn't matter. You're going to open your Bark app. You're going to turn the phone off remotely. Or you can disable any social network that they have. You're in total control. So with the Android or the Bark phone, here's what it looks like. So he's on his Instagram. They're telling him, I was going to invite you to my party, but we don't want to invite losers. You shouldn't be a waste of space. Why don't you just go kill yourself? And so what happens? She's going to get an alert. There's a violation of Bark. She's going to open up, and it shows her exactly what happened. Immediately. I want to mention what happened today. We talked a lot about cyberbullying. And I asked this question to the kids. How many of you over the past year received a text message from someone you know, someone you didn't? You're so ugly, nobody likes you, why don't you just go kill yourself? We had 20 kids raising their hands that received that text message. So then I act like I lose my shit, right? They don't know what kind of rich they're going to get, right? That's how I keep them all interested. And I start yelling at them. I am sick and tired of seeing these hands go up. You know why I'm sick and tired of this? Because the person sending that text message is the person in this room right now. And they're like, and then they have kids pointing. And I told them, listen guys, I don't want to see any of you arrested. If you're doing this, making fake phone numbers, making fake accounts, it doesn't matter. We can find out who they are. So stop. Because you don't know. When you send that message, you don't know what that kid's been through. You don't know if that kid's got mental health problems. You don't know if that kid's being abused. You don't know if their parents are drug addicts. You don't know if they have to fend for themselves. And when you say just go kill yourself, what happens when they do it because you asked them to? How are you going to live with yourself? What are you going to explain? And then after that, unfortunately, we had a group come forward and said, this happens to me all the time. And we're going to rectify that tomorrow. And it's not only happening to this girl. This other person who was doing it is doing it to several people. And it needs to stop. So our job, collectively, is to empower them. So the last thing I have for you, two things really. So there is a Facebook group called Parenting in a Tech World. It is, there are close to 500,000 people in there. And for any issue you may have, there it is. For any issue you may have, parenting in a tech world, You can post it, and one of these, I'm one of the moderators, there's like 20 moderators, and somebody's gonna answer your question to your problem. So whenever you have an issue, just post it. You can post it anonymously if you want. There will be hundreds of people answering your question at the same time. Okay? Let's do one more exercise. Yeah, that's why there's only 10. Okay. So what I told your kids today, if anyone ever tells you, don't tell your parents, that person's going to harm you. Eventually. I don't care if it's at school, social media, gaming, your team, church, anywhere, anyone ever tells you, don't tell your parents, they're going to harm you. Last year, I was in Malabar, and we did this in the parent presentation. So here's what I want you to do. Go to your text messages on your phone. Go to your text messages. Swipe it down for the search bar to come. Type in there, don't tell your. Search. Do this on your kids' phones. When I was in mail hour, a parent went like this. She had her daughter's phone. I said, we're almost done. Almost done. Wait. So I said, all right, after the thing, I said, what did you find? This person, Sarah, is telling my daughter, did you like when we kissed by the bleachers? Did you like it when I touched you in the hallway? Did you like, I don't know a Sarah, she doesn't have a friend named Sarah. I called the principal over, looked at the actual number. Can you put this number in to see if you know this person? Like you're gonna send him a text. So he puts the number in, like he sent him a text. It was the maintenance guy. The maintenance guy had her hide his number under Sarah, and he was abusing her during the school day. That's the second time that happened during this exercise. So constantly check your kid's text message by swiping down, don't tell your. See if anybody's telling them that. And if you don't see it, go to the recently deleted messages and check those too. Okay? So here's what BARC monitors. You're going to see a whole list. What the BARC phone does, what the Apple does, and what the Androids does. But this is the 30 days I'm giving you for free. And that's my information. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Can I answer some questions? Any questions? Yes?
I got a follow-up from the last time you were here. You were talking about technology where someone sent out something in a room like this that you guys could capture it and figure out who did it. How has that progressed?
Apple killed it. Every time they do an update, they're changing the code, so I would have had to rewrite all the coding. What we're looking at, maybe using ChatGPT to redo the coding, because they can go back and what Apple updated, and maybe it can rewrite the code, but it got trashed when they BARC has to do the same thing. Whenever there's an update, they have to go with their engineers and refigure out the update. They're constantly do not want parents to monitor their stuff. It was an airdrop. Yeah. Another thing they did, they allowed users to turn off airplane mode. They said they do this because if somebody steals your phone, they can't put it on airplane mode so they can track it. But for criminals, when they get arrested, we always put it on airplane mode so they can't send a signal. But if airplane mode's not there, when they get released, they send a signal to wipe their phone. There goes all the evidence. Constantly battling with law enforcement. Question?
How many parents are getting arrested because these people have their shit?
Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of YouTubers, like they call them their sons pedo patrol, that they entrap a lot of these guys, get them to meet, and then they'll have people beat the shit out of them when they arrive. What I tell my officers, if that ever happens, you get called to a scene like that, What these YouTubers do, they're not doing it because they're predators. They're doing it for likes and followers, so they become influencers. So the issue is, they lie, they hand you a book, and they say, here's all the chat, officer, go arrest them. Let me see the phone that you had that chat on. You show them the phone. I have the officer swipe the phone, get a search warrant for the phone, because you're going to see the chat that they had with the guy isn't the same chat that they're giving you. So, but to answer your question, predators are everywhere.
But it makes me so angry.
Yeah, for sure. But what's, the cyber tip process, that AI programming that the National Center has, is catching so many people. And 95% of the people we arrest have never been arrested before. It's a private life. They're not sex offenders. They're not creepos. They're butcher, baker, candlestick maker, and you won't even know that they're the people doing that. Any other questions? All right, that's a wrap. Thank you so much, everyone. We're going to meet tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Where? Wallowa. Yeah, 5 o'clock tomorrow, Wallowa. Tell your friends. Thank you very much.